My gorgeous wife, the A-Train, is standing by in South Carolina for the Murdaugh Trial, and she's going to do a live report for us. And Dave said, about time. We are wanting to hear from her.
She taking a job down there?
Well, it's another thing that I don't believe you heard. I was on the phone with her a moment ago, preparing her. And she's preparing, prepping her for some questions she might get here. And I said, you can let it fly today. Today's your last day there. And she goes, well, maybe.
She did not.
She did. That's what she said. Remember, she's wanting to see those closing arguments, and those have been delayed at least today because I want to say the prosecution is recalling some witnesses, some rebuttal witnesses.
Does that mean people who have already testified or these new witnesses? Well, we can ask the expert.
Let's ask the expert. She's there from Walterboro, South Carolina, home of the Murdaugh Trial, which she's been to. This is her 4th day of testimony, I believe she'll see. Good morning, Sweet Pea. How are you?
Good morning. I am wonderful.
Good.
Can you set the scene around you at the moment?
Well, the scene around me at the moment is my cousin Stephanie getting ready for her day in court.
They're in the hotel. They're in full disclosure. She found a way to get a pass so she doesn't have to wait in line.
With the cattle?
With the cattle.
My God, they do know you. Oh, that's cool.
I wasn't supposed to mention that.
We're going to sleep late. Have a leisurely breakfast.
Yeah. Apparently, she's taking advantage of the continental breakfast.
You're sitting right behind the family, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well,
yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give her a pass.
Yesterday, she got the best seat she had had. How far were you from the defendant?
About 8 feet. We could see the hairs on his head. We could see his bulletproof vest underneath his jacket. It was incredible.
Wow.
I didn't know he was wearing the bulletproof vest.
Now,
I had no idea.
Well, we didn't either, but we could see it through his clothes.
Wow.
Ashley, is Mr. Murdaugh, is he in jail during the proceedings? He's not out on bond.
Yes.
He's in
No.
trouble.
There's the bond was $7 million, which I believe could have been paid, but I've heard from some locals that he chose not to have that paid so that he could get credit for time served.
I see.
All right.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. Well, let me say this about the trial so far. I don't believe he's going to be found guilty. We definitely want your opinion on this because you've been so glued to it. But I think yesterday the defense scored some strong points. I saw his brother testify, and I found him likable. And then I saw an expert testify to say that it looks like to him it's 2 shooters, and that was a pretty big deal. What are you thinking on that one, A-Train?
Yes, yesterday was a big day, in my opinion, for the defense. I felt like they did a really good job. I'm disappointed in the prosecution, especially in the last few days, because I feel like the main guy, Creighton Waters, is not the one questioning them. I think they really could be more hard-hitting with some of these defense witnesses, but they're not. And yes, his brother, John Marvin, was very credible, and the jury really perked up when he was on the stand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they did. So you see the jury,
Yes.
and so you see what they're looking at, and you have thoughts about that, right? You think the defense is winning.
I don't. Yes, I do think the defense is winning. I feel like some of the jury is checked out. I mean, one is literally sleeping with a blanket on her head.
Ooh.
And
If I was the judge.
Shouldn't the judge
How
say
is that allowed?
I mean, she can't be sleeping with a blanket on her head.
that's what we can't figure out is why she's not admonished for that. I don't know, but she is. Let me tell you, laid back, kind of turned to the side, always has a blanket with her, and is just kind of in and out.
That's how Biggie is in here.
Yeah, but it's not life and death.
Most of the time,
used to it.
and sometimes we'll even say, "Hey, nudge the big man." And we're time.
Phone's ringing.
Phone's ringing.
I don't see anything wrong with her.
You're okay
Well,
with
that
it.
judge wants to keep rolling. He doesn't want a mistrial.
He has really rolled right through it. You think though there will be a mistrial, don't you, Sweet Pea?
No, not a mistrial. I think it will be a hung jury. I don't think it'll be a
jury.
mistrial.
Hung jury. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard just from other people that are consultants and people that are on these TV shows that the prosecuting attorney, and some have called him an egomaniac, that he's just kind of up there and doing his thing, but he's not that great of a lawyer.
What do you think about that, A-Train?
I don't perceive him as an egomaniac. I think this is his, what's the right word? He's so passionate about this. And he is also the one who is going to try, if there is going to be a trial, on the financial crimes. So that's where he has spent a huge amount of time is researching these financial crimes. So he's using this as a time to kind of hard hit on the financial crimes. As we've seen, there's been a ton of testimony on the financial piece of it. And unfortunately, I'm afraid the jury, and I feel this way too, you kind of wonder, is that all you have? You don't have huge hard-hitting evidence on the murders. You've got so much on the financial crimes and his admission that he lies constantly.
But you think that he did pull the trigger on both of these victims, even though it's his wife and his young son. You think he did this, even though there was two different weapons used?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think that?
What motive have been?
There's lots of things being thrown about and talked about as we, stand in line every day and we talk to local people. I don't believe he was addicted to opioids. I think that's embellished. I think he probably took pills. I think he probably trafficked drugs, maybe. I don't know. There's a drug connection there, but I don't think there was a 20-year opioid addiction. I think someone could easily kill two people in in a 1 minute time span or whatever they think it was. And I think he could have been wearing one of the guns. I think the guns were on the golf cart that he rode down to the kennels, and nobody thought anything about that. Paul and Maggie probably didn't think anything about that because they had guns like that around all the time. And then I think and your question was, could he do that to his wife and son? I mean, it's very hard for any of us to imagine, but we're not wired the way he is.
But the reason he would do it, the motive is what?
The motive, I think, is that if he kills Paul, the boat case goes away, the criminal case, and he will get a lot of sympathy for the civil case, and that might even be dropped too. So I think that and also his financial house of cards was crumbling. He was about to be exposed for stealing from all these clients. And Moselle, the property where the crime occurred that is worth millions of dollars, was in Maggie's name. So he automatically inherits that if she died.
Oh, the old-fashioned inheritance type thing. Golly. I mean, and I'll tell you what else happened yesterday was early in the day, I think this was yesterday, very gruesome details of the shooting. And I mean, any person who could do that to another person, much less your wife and son, I mean, just awful.
So is this trip to the crime scene going to happen?
I think it is going to happen. I really wish they were not allowing that, because I think we heard a lot of people say yesterday that, people could be on the side of the road with signs saying he did it, and that could lead to a mistrial. I don't know how they're going to protect the jury and kind of keep them cocooned on the drive over there. I think once they get there, they'll be cocooned. But as we saw in the OJ case, I mean, they could make the scene look like anything they want it to look like.
Boy, the OJ case, if you don't know what she's talking about there, when the jurors were headed over to see OJ's house, Johnny Cochran and his defense team went in there and turned it into a completely different looking place than it was. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it was just...
Yes, with pictures of Nicole, and, everything looked like this loving family man who, and that's exactly how they're portraying Alec to be as well, that he's this loving family man who was always with his wife and kids, took every call, went to all the sporting events. Well, you can do that and present that to the world and be someone totally different behind closed doors. And I think that's probably what he did.
That may be right. And I don't think the defense or anybody should be allowed to go in there and change the way it looks. But it's been, of course, a year since this crime. So
the other thing I heard was
he still owns the property.
Yeah, right. He can go.
The strange thing is that this is something that the defense asked for this, right?
Yes.
So it's usually the prosecution that wants to go to the scene, typically, isn't it?
Yes, you're right about that, Dave. I think it is usually the prosecution who wants to go to the scene. I'm not sure why the defense is asking for it so much, unless they want them to be exposed to things along the way that could lead to a mistrial. But at this point, I think they probably have to realize that one of those jurors is not going to vote guilty.
Right. It seems like they've planted enough reasonable doubt.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ashley, during your time there in South Carolina, have you been interviewed by any other notable reporters?
We have. We've been interviewed by a reporter, a writer for the state newspaper, and we've talked to several reporters, but not really been interviewed by them, but we've met them. Nancy Grace sat in front of us yesterday in court, which was incredible. And the guy from Court TV sits in front of us every day, so we're right behind him.
Well, your husband told us, Ashley, that you were hoping to be interviewed in the diner across the street. That has not happened yet?
No, that hasn't happened yet. We did go to Fat Jack's last night, and we saw several people from the courtroom. We saw the security, the bodyguard for Alec in there, and we saw, we've seen lots of people from. Apparently, that's the place to go. So we had to experience it. And I'll tell you what, we have had the most extraordinary experience. Everyone has been so friendly. We've met so many people, and just kind of had. I mean, everyone's just been so friendly and welcoming, and. We've met a lot of people like ourselves who are very passionate about the case, but we've also just met a lot of really great people.
Biggie.
Nothing brings people together like brutal murder.
It's true.
Well,
when you get down to it.
I have to say this. I was sent a screenshot of Lester Holt's NBC Nightly News last night. You're on it, front and center.
Oh, gosh.
It's just a still.
Yeah, you nationwide, sugar.
And the, 100 or so people around you look just like you. There's a lot of people that really like that true crime, obviously.
Ashley, as a person who has, I've known your passion about, crime and criminals and trials for a long time. Now that you're there in person, what has surprised you the most or the least about being there in person?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think watching the interactions with the attorneys are very friendly with each other when it's recess or lunch break. They're all hanging out together, prosecution and defense. They are watching the reporters kind of talk to people. And I don't know, there's an energy in the courtroom that you cannot get by watching it on TV. And
that makes sense because I say to her, I can watch all this from home. Why do you want to drive all the way down there and sit in uncomfortable seats all day at the mercy of, you can't get up and leave, that kind of thing. But there's an energy in the courtroom, you say.
There is, and I just think watching people's expressions, because you only see what the camera shows you if you watch it on TV, but to watch the expressions, and especially the jurors, and seeing what they're kind of taking in and what they're ignoring. The judge started yesterday's proceedings by telling the gallery that you are not to show any reaction, because on Friday when we were here, people were gasping and turning to each other in the gallery and saying, no, that's not true. Ooh. And, that's completely inappropriate, and really, if the jury is vulnerable, could really say to them, oh, you need to pay attention to this, or something like that. So the judge started the proceedings by saying there is to be no reaction whatsoever to any testimony. So yesterday was much quieter in the courtroom.
Do you find, Ashley, that in the 4 days that you've been, it largely the same people in the gallery, or changeover?
No, I think we're one of the few who've been here
consistent.
so much.
Most people just go for a day, you'd think.
Get your pictures.
Get your pictures and be done. This will be your final day in the courtroom.
Oh, I wish I could say yes, but
summations, closing arguments.
Yes. Did Stephanie tell her husband she was going this time, or did she just sneak on out of town?
She forgot again, and we got here. We pulled into the parking lot down here in Walterboro, and she was like, "Oh no, I got to call Scott."
Right, yeah.
And so,
well, if he hadn't missed her yet.
Yeah. Well, Scott texted me and said, "I guess I'll take out a second mortgage for these hotel bills." That the ladies.
Well, Kelly, you were saying that yesterday after the show that those proceedings every day are done by 5:30 or 6. I'm sure there's a Hardee's down there that your wife could get a little
side job in, a little something. Yeah. She can work over at Fat Jack's.
That's right. Fat Jack's always looking for servers.
Duke's Barbecue down there. That's right. All right.
You need to be blogging this, Ashley.
Oh, you should. You should
making money off of
blog and podcasting.
Oh, dear. No, this is just for our personal use. But don't worry, I'll be getting my slideshow together for you to watch when I get home.
Oh, so exciting.
Oh, another slideshow.
Spectacular.
The kids were so excited about that, too.
Yeah.
They really. Well,
everyone was.
We all miss you. The dog is forlorn. I can tell you that. She's she's sleeping on a pile of your clothes. That's what she does.
Oh, bless her little cockapoo heart.
Just wonderful. All right. Well, we'll watch for you today on YouTube and on Court TV, Sweet Pea.
Behave yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Don't.
Every day we hope you're one pew closer to the front.
Hard to get closer than yesterday, but I could be.
So true. Well, we'll look for you.
I want you to get close enough that Alec calls you sugar.
Hey, sugar. It's possible. Sugar, back off a little bit, would you? You breathe it on me. All right,
you got a stick of gum, sugar?
Okay. Great report from the front lines.
Excellent work.
Go enjoy the hotel breakfast, and we'll be watching for you.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
And hey to Stephanie, of course. Hey to Stephanie. Her
that was superb work.
Well, she does. She's absolutely invested in this
I
trial.
love that she's a teacher of children, but she's really in the wrong line.
I mean,
she
tell me
should be
about it.
doing this.
I know she should.
I love that they have a fast pass for murder trials.
Yeah, it's the first. If you, I
Like
guess-
it's like Disney World. What time y'all want to go?
Right up here,
I
ladies.
fast
Yeah.
passed.
Right up here, right to the front.
Last time I get up before dawn.
Yeah, I
don't wait for a murder
yeah,
trial.
first couple of days she's up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now she's
That's for the
strolling.
noobs.
Yeah. Now she just strolls in.
Yeah, they're not pros.
It's really unbelievable,
It
isn't it?
is.
She said yesterday's testimony was fascinating. I did watch a lot of that because she's on it and she's making us watch.
Right.
She said, I go to YouTube and watch
I should have asked, how many changes of clothing has she brought? I mean, does she wear like a church-going outfit or just
It's
business
more,
outfit?
more casual than that, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
business outfit. And again, everybody all dressed the same. All those women are dressed the same, look the same, and they have the same expression on their face, like concern. Like
You know, we meant to ask too.
Yeah.
You said, Kelly, that your wife had brought a notebook with her.
Oh, yeah.
We should have asked what she was taking
Yeah.
notes. What did she write down?
she scribbles furiously. And in fact, she says to me, like when she's here at home, she'll say, "Well, I need to go prepare for court." And I said, "Well, what?" What do you mean? She goes, "I'll be in the bedroom. I'm preparing for court." But
Puts on her frills and lace.
We're not in court. Exactly. I
The
mean,
you know, we have the
odd.
television on here in the corner of the room, and the lead man anchor from the Today Show is outside the courthouse. That's the first time I've seen him there.
Oh yeah. Well, now it gets to the end. I think it gets more and more eyes on it. Because it'll be closing up here. I would think by Thursday. Wouldn't you think the closing arguments?
The defense called that one guy. Came on yesterday for he had just gone out for the first time.
Yeah.
What was he? A forensics guy?
Yes.
He's like, I just went there this weekend.
Yeah,
for the
for
first time. I'm like, that's kind of
late
coming
in the
in
game, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's another lawsuit. We'll ask. This is the law, and we'll ask Lisa Lanier about this on Friday for Lawyer Up. A Tennessee woman is suing Walmart for $3 million because she says she sustained injuries after she was hit by a group of shopping carts being pushed by an employee. You know how they have so many in front of them, and apparently the person pushing the carts didn't see her, and she was hit.
Does Walmart have the machine?
Surely they do.
Because Target, when I go to the Target, they will have the machine that can push 30, 40 carts.
A ton of them,
I
right?
think that's mostly a Target thing. I think Walmart's like, we're not investing in that.
It's manual labor?
Really?
I think it's still manual labor.
That's a lot of carts.
That's a lot of carts.
Because the machine, I mean, it is an
It's like a
investment,
train.
but it's more
And it's
efficient.
a remote control. Sometimes they have
yeah.
a little box in their hand. They're running that.
Is
thing.
that right?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
know, when we visited, I should show you this. This is technology. When we visited East Carolina, there were these little, I took a picture of this. This is East Carolina University for my
Son's official visit.
Yeah, the son's official visit, which he really enjoyed. They had these little boxes rolling all over the place.
Like little robots?
Yeah, here it is. There's a picture of it right there.
It's a little white box
And
on
there were,
wheels.
I saw 25 of them. They deliver food.
Yep.
And
What?
it costs $2.
What's in there?
A pizza or chicken wings
kidding.
or whatever.
In
Yeah.
your bigger cities, it's like they have these boxes now that will, it's like an Uber Eats type box. But if you're close enough, they'll just remote control it to you.
They deliver anywhere on campus for $2. And so it adds a $2.
Does the food come from the campus or from off?
I think it's from
site?
the campus. And see, I got there. They explained it before I got there, but I believe it's restaurants from the campus. But they have,
Like their food court?
yeah,
Yeah.
and they also have Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's. That's where they ate. A bunch of others. And so inside,
Any med options?
Not that I saw. I had to remember. I packed a bowl.
that's
in a
right.
cooler.
I'm
I
mad
packed-
they ate it at Raising Cane's. I've been wanting to go there.
They loved it. My wife
Yeah.
said it's delicious.
Yeah.
But I just and by the way, if you walk toward them or they get closer, they stop. I mean, they know that you're there. The technology is incredible.
And then they give you like a little lockbox code to open it
Yeah,
up.
That's right.
Could you overpower it and steal the pizza, or is it
I don't think so. It's pretty
tamper-proof?
pretty tight in there. I think
Yeah.
it's tamper-proof. I mean, you could probably break the thing or
Unless you
flip
pick it
over.
up. Can you pick it up?
I guess you could. I don't know how heavy it is.
But I bet
People still steal ATMs. They don't always get.
Right.
I bet this thing's got so much tracking technology on it, it would know exactly
Yeah.
where you're.
And a camera to take your picture.
And maybe a camera.
I took about 6 pictures of it. The students were like, "Dude, come on, get out, let's go."
The robot's like, what are you doing?
I know.
You're out
You're
there.
at a noob.
Oh my God, witchcraft!
This is the woman that's suing the Walmart.
When I came back to myself, I realized I had been hit. My legs were scarred up. My neck was hurting. My back was hurting. I had a lawyer during that time, but now I'm representing myself. In Walmart, we've been going to court. but they've been denying that this ever happened, and they're not Walmart. Well, I'm suing them for $3 million. I don't know what I'll be getting, but that's what I'm asking for.
She's making a mistake representing herself. When she said that.
Yeah, if you have a lawyer and then either you fire the attorney or the attorney says, I don't like this case, that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign.